Every time I do a video on Alex Becker, about 10% of the comments say exactly the same thing. No, not that one, this one. Alex Shill My Bags Becker. He buys 2 weeks before he makes his video and sells 2 days after. And people think he's a genius. Does everything a crypto influencer recommend go up just because they're recommending it? I first had this question when I heard Mr. Beast on the Logan Paul podcast talk about how Gary Vee got the top 100 or so influencers in the world on a Zoom call and asked them to buy CryptoPunk.
I don't even know these other people.
Yo, every heavy hitter you can imagine who's worth $1 billion was on this one call, and Gary Vee is in the little corner, the little square. He's going, CryptoPunks. It's gonna be huge.
CryptoPunks then went on to do absolutely ridiculous numbers, but were these ridiculous numbers going to be done if these influencers didn't buy in the first place? So in this video, we dig deep into Alex Becker's wallet and dig through the data to see, one, does Alex Becker have any influence on the market when he makes his call? And two, if he does have influence on the market and it goes up, does he sell? Make sure you hit that like button below. And let's jump in. So how do we know if Alex Becker has any influence on the coins that he recommends? Well, we'll go to our master sheet that we put together. I've linked this up in the description if you want your own free copy. This sheet has every single gaming crypto coin that Alex Becker has ever recommended and what the current price of the coin is. So I'm gonna take 10 random samples from this list and deep dive into them in this video. But of course, we need something to compare them to. So we're gonna be comparing these 10 samples to Bitcoin and to a metaverse index token. Bitcoin sort of represents the entire crypto market. So if Alex Becker's making a recommendation, but Bitcoin's going up at the same time as that recommendation, it's probably just the whole market going up. And the Metaverse Index is a collection of about 15 gaming and metaverse tokens that represent the gaming niche which Alex Becker plays within. So we'll know if his token recommendations are going up faster than the niche that he's in or not. So we took these 10 samples from August 19th all the way through to October 22nd and tracked their changes compared to those two control coins, Bitcoin and Metaverse Index. Let's go through the first one together. So Alex Becker first recommended Veracity token on August 19th on his YouTube channel. When he recommended this token, not when he bought it, when he actually publicly recommended it, it was at $0.027. 1 day after he recommended it, it was at $0.028, a 6.5% increase. 3 days after he recommended it, it was at $0.035, a 31% increase in 3 days. 7 days, a full week after he first recommended this token, it dropped back to $0.028, a 6% increase, but 14 days, 2 weeks after he recommended Veracity for the first time on his YouTube channel, the coin was priced at $0.042, a 57% increase. So taking these stats in isolation, it definitely looks like he has an influence on this coin. But let's compare it to Bitcoin. On August 19th, when he first recommended Veracity, Bitcoin was at $30,817. 1 day after, it was down 3.28%. 3 days after, it was up 4.85%. 7 days, up 21%. 14 days, up 27%. So you can see the whole crypto market was up, but not nearly as much as the token he recommended. So let's check the Metaverse Index. After 1 day, down 0.51%, which is very interesting because Becker's was up 6.5% in that same 24-hour period. After 3 days, it was up 12%, 7 days, it was up 19%, and after 2 weeks, it was up 24%. Slightly lower than the whole crypto market, but way lower than Veracity. Now let's have a look at the third token, Sandbox. 1 day after recommending Sandbox on his YouTube channel, it was up 2.69%, but 3 days after, it was actually down 19.5%. 1 week after, down 14%, and 2 weeks after, it was down 19%. Bitcoin and Metaverse Index after 2 weeks was only down 5.9% and 10.34% respectively. So I've got data points on both sides. So filling in the next 8 tokens that he's recommended, we found the average percentage that Becker's tokens were up or down after he recommended them compared to Bitcoin and Metaverse Index. And honestly, these results were very surprising. 1 day after Alex Becker recommended a token, on average, that token was up 20.76%, whereas Bitcoin over that same day averaged an increase of 0.03% down. And Metaverse Index token was 0.1% down. Juicy, chunky, significant, massive. But let's expand this out to 3 days. 3 days after Becker recommended his tokens, on average, they were up 35.95%. Bitcoin, just 2%, and Metaverse Index, just 5%. 7 days after Alex recommended those tokens, on average, they were up 47%. Bitcoin just up 5%. Metaverse Index also up 5%. 2 weeks, 14 days after he recommended these tokens, you won't believe this. On average, the coins were up 100%, doubling your money in just 2 weeks, where Bitcoin was less than 1% and Metaverse Index was 17.81% up. So to conclude part one, yes, in my personal opinion, Alex Becker has a significant impact on the tokens that he recommends. But this takes us to part two. Does Alex Becker intentionally recommend coins so that they pump, and then does he sell them on his fans at their expense? We went through his wallet and saw exactly when he bought and sold the tokens that he recommended in this list. Now, there's some tokens on here like Sandbox, Stefina, Rima, Star Atlas, where we don't have access to the centralized exchanges he would have used, or we don't have his private wallet yet. Still looking for it. Now, Alex Becker does have a good public track record as far as I was aware. For example, he recommended Jungle Freaks NFT way back, thinking it was going to be another blue chip NFT collection. When it came out, he didn't really like the artwork. But Becker, instead of dumping on his fans, he decided to give these away for free, not making any profit at all. But that being said, I did come across a little bit of confusing stuff that doesn't really make sense to me. So if you have thoughts on it, I'd love to hear in the comments below. Chain Guardians, for example, he had 40,000 tokens of Chain Guardians. He bought those on August 20. He came out with his first YouTube recommendation to buy Chain Guardians on September 11, and Chain Guardians was at $1.02. In 24 hours after he recommended it, Chain Guardians went up 23.26%. Nothing crazy in the crypto world, you know, it's not a 5 or 10x. And Alex Becker had 40,000 tokens worth, so about $40,000. And he ended up selling the day after 5,000 tokens of Chain Guardians, which confuses me because he still holds 35,000. But in the day that he recommended to buy it, that it was at a good price, as soon as it pumped 20%, he sold 5,000 of them for a 2 ETH profit, which is such a small amount of money for him. I'm confused at why he would even try and cash out there, because it doesn't look good selling a day after you recommend it. Then you have things like Veracity, where he first recommended August 19th. It went up 57% in 2 weeks after he recommended it, but in his public wallet, he sold all of his Veracity well before August, well before the video where he even recommended it. So it doesn't look like he profited from this trade, but if you thought it was a good investment, I'm wondering why he sold before he made the video. That leads us to the most suspicious activity that we found, Altura. Now, if you remember, Altura was up 557% 2 weeks after Alex Becker first recommended it on his YouTube channel. But digging into his wallet, before he even recommended Altura, he was already up 10x. So it doesn't look like he really needed to pump this. He seems to be able to find and profit from profitable coins without using his audience. And I do think Altura does look like a really cool protocol, allowing NFTs to become dynamic. But after he recommended Altura publicly, it went up 56% in a day, 150% in 3 days, 226% in a week, and 557% in 2 weeks. When did Alex Becker sell? Alex Becker actually sold 11 days after he recommended it. Initially looking very suspicious, selling at almost the peak of when his fans and everyone else was buying in. So I dug a little deeper because I personally am a big fan of Alex Becker, and I don't think he personally would trade his reputation in order to make a quick dollar off of his fans, especially 2 ETH on Chain Guardians. Still confused on that one. So we went through this Altura recommendation, and what he said on this video sort of cleared everything up for me. He said that he could see Altura reaching a $200 to $300 million valuation, which obviously means he would think that's the appropriate price for something like Altura. So when did he sell? Well, he sold when Altura hit a $200 million valuation, meaning that he thought all the future value was already priced in. He also only had less than 0.1% of the overall market cap. He had about $200,000 worth when Altura was $200 million. So him selling would have almost absolutely zero impact on the total project overall. After digging into this research, yes, he definitely has an influence. I don't think that he uses his influence in a negative way. He's very upfront. He says he doesn't promote really micro cap coins because he knows they're going to pump. And he also says if things pump too high, that he is going to dump. He's very upfront about this. The best way you and me can make money in this is to become as educated as possible. That's why you should subscribe below. If you like this video, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.